You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, we're going to be talking about ESPN/ABC. As you guys know, the NBA Finals are actually going on right now, which no one is watching. Still waiting on the ratings for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. But ABC/ESPN/Disney are actually doing the NBA Finals right now. And during this year's playoffs, man, fans have been extremely critical of one Doris Burke. Remember, guys, ESPN let go of Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Now, Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson were great on TV. They were really, really good. And, of course, ESPN going broke, they decided, you know what? We need to make massive layoffs. So they fired him. And now in this NBA Finals, they actually have Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson. And the fans, they don't like it whatsoever. This is a massive drop-off, folks, from Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. Yeah, but ESPN decided to do this. Of course, Disney actually fired like 7,000 people last year. And then ESPN decided, you know what? We need to make massive cuts as well. Folks, people are not liking Doris Burke whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get into this because ESPN may not bring her back next season. There's a possibility, folks, she could actually get fired. Let's get into it. Now, right over here on Outkick, Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson aren't good enough to call the NBA Finals. Now, this is Bobby Burack right here, but it's not just Bobby Burack, okay? It's not. Look here. It says Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson aren't in, at least in terms of calling the NBA Finals. Aren't it, I should say, in terms of calling the NBA Finals. ESPN had one of the best booths in sports with Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson. Breen is the best NBA play-by-play commentator in the industry. Van Gundy and Jackson had chemistry, witty banter, and authority on the sport, and yet ESPN laid off both analysts in 2023. I thought it was 2024. Man, time flies. But anyway, the network replaced Van Gundy and Jackson with Burke and JJ Redick last season, the latter of whom departed to coach the Lakers weeks after the finals. This season, ESPN paired Jefferson with Breen and Burke. It's not surprising to see the trio struggle. They have never called games together before, and pairing random commentators rarely proves successful. That's why it's so baffling to see ESPN parting ways with Van Gundy and Jackson, even if the NBA preferred it, without an established backup plan in place. Yeah. And when it comes to Doris Burke right here, Bobby Burack actually says this. In this case, opposite Stoner Track, Burke's monotone analysis is too slow for a three-person team. Basketball commentary should be quick and easily digestible. The point is to hand the mic back to the play-by-play announcer by the time the other team dribbles the ball past half court. Far too often, Burks is still explaining the previous play while the next one is in action. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good whatsoever, man. But check this out. Doris Burke may actually get fired. Don't know for sure, but we have to see. Look at this. ESPN announcer responds to Doris Burke rumors. Down here it says, before the 2025 NBA Finals even started, ESPN announcer Doris Burke found herself at the center of some unpleasant rumors. Burke has been covering the NBA for several years. During the 2024 NBA Finals, she became the first woman to serve as a TV analyst for any major American men's sports championship event. Although plenty of fans have enjoyed her analysis at the booth, there's a chance she could be replaced for the 2025 25-26 season. According to Andrew Marchand of The Athletic, ESPN is, quote, evaluating its broadcast trio of Doris Burke, Mike Breen, and Richard Jefferson. They're currently covering their first NBA Finals together. Breen will definitely return to ESPN that season. As of now, Marchand can't say the same thing for Burke. Quote, Burke's spot is not guaranteed for next season, according to sources familiar with ESPN's preliminary plans, Marchand wrote. Quote, while Breen, the Basketball Hall of Famer, under a long-term deal, is not going anywhere, ESPN will evaluate its entire roster. Yeah. So this is not a good sign for Doris Burke going forward. Check out this clip right here. NBA fans don't want Doris Burke, or I should say NBA fans want Doris Burke fired. Check this out.
Doris Burke has been known as one of the best announcers in sports for a while now, but it appears that NBA fans are getting tired of her because there's a lot of people on social media who want her to be fired. Last night, she called Game 4 of the Thunder vs. Timberwolves series, and let's just say a lot of fans didn't like the broadcast. One fan said, Doris Burke tonight, 100% crush on Gobert. I doubt it. One World War II joke and 134 cousin mentions. For those of you who don't know, the cousin mentions is referring to the fact that SGA and Nikhil Alexander Walker are cousins, and people think Doris Burke brought it up too much. Another fan said, I hope ESPN goes bankrupt and Doris Burke never calls a game again. It is unbelievable how bad this broadcast is. A third fan said, SGA clearly got fouled by Gobert on the arm, but unprofessionally, Doris Burke called SGA a free throw merchant. There's no way she should be saying this on air. Shout out to RJ for sticking up and understanding. A fourth fan said, ESPN used to have so much aura, man. Now we're forced to listen to Doris Burke. Doris, don't worry about this one. Anyone who uses the word aura unironically is an absolute dork. A fifth fan simply said, Doris Burke should not have a job as an announcer. A sixth fan said, we really used to have it all. Now we got to listen to Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson, broken heart, crying. And last but not least, a fan said, starting a petition to get Doris Burke replaced with Tim Legler on the broadcast. Please like to sign the petition. As for my take on this, if you don't like the way Doris Burke is calling the game, instead of hopping on Twitter and saying she should be fired, grab your remote. It probably looks like this. There should be a button right there. It might say mute, or it might be a microphone with a cross through it. Tap that button. It'll turn off Doris's voice, and you won't have to hear her anymore.
Yeah, but anyway, right there, guys, you saw that. She has been getting crushed. Yeah. And look here, Andrew Marchand puts up this. Not a bunch of response here, but he asks, how it might bring Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson done in the first two games of the finals. And there's only 2 likes and 4 comments, but right here it says, this guy says, terrible, but it's ESPN's fault. Should have left the booth with just Burke and Breen. All Richard Jefferson does is talk about himself and takes up the majority of the telecast. Less is more. So he seems to be kind of pro Doris Burke right there. But he wants Richard Jefferson gone. But look at this here. Andrew Marchand puts over here, then ESPN will consider if it is better with Doris Burke or Tim Legler on its top team going forward. Listen in.
So the question that ESPN will have to ask themselves in the offseason is that they like Tim Legler a lot. Is it enough of an upgrade that you put Legler in there for Doris Burke with Richard Jefferson? Is Legler at this point better than Doris Burke? That's a decision that they're going to have to make. And I think, they have to also look at, is that going to be, are you set for the next 5 years? Or are you going to look for a big name out there? So I think you have to look at all those factors before you just make the change.
Yeah, so you heard that right there, man. Not a whole bunch of support for Doris Burke. Now, here's the problem for ESPN. ESPN is woke, and if they actually fire her from the play-by-play, you guys already know, man, that the wokes are going to lose their minds. They're going to say they're firing a woman and bringing in in the case of Tim Legler, if he actually comes in, a straight white male. They're going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their minds, man. ESPN had a good thing going with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, but they had to let them go. You see, folks, when you actually start firing people because you're not making money, guess what? You're going to have to get lesser talent to cover them. And that's exactly what's happening right now, folks. But That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.